Thầy Anh says that you feel that belief can be vague, ambiguous. Belief is fairly ambiguous, huh? Hearing, seeing, talking, and knowing, even that one is vague. What do we hear? What do we see? What do we talk about? And how do we know about anything? Some people saying belief comes from love. Thầy Anh says we may not always love ourselves. We may not always love other people. Some people say it comes from awareness. Some people say it comes from the teaching of the teachers. And say also, on the day that the teachers are not teaching, then you no longer have any strength within you. Somebody said that small inquiry comes from small inquiry, small realization, great inquiry, great realization. And says, you know that sometimes even if you have a great inquiry and you still don't realize anything. And the person says come from desire. And says you might not even know how to desire. So everyone is asking, where does it come from? Somebody say wisdom, some people say mental images, somebody say please tell us, teachers. Some people say from love. Somebody say it comes from teacher Nhận. Somebody say it. Ron is saying come from our inner being. Okay. But the inner being is a totally ambiguous and vague thing. Okay, and say you are so great, so wonderful. Excellent. Thầy is congratulating the previous mentor, saying you are such a bunch of smart students, okay? From concept, from mental images. Okay. How do we in terms of strength, how do we raise something really heavy? When it comes to physical strength, somebody responded from the air breath energy. Meaning if you take the internal body transformation courses, you'll be strong, right? The breath energy. Young says, I've been noticing you have been exercising a lot. Some people exercise several times a day. You can squat 2,000, huh? Somebody said they can squat 2,000 times. Only the first month, then somebody can already squat 2,000. A participant says that strength comes from the breath energy. One person said it comes from the survival motivation. And says we haven't studied on that part yet. So it doesn't matter the person's body. It doesn't matter what their perseverance are. If a person have the following, that will make them very strong. Okay? Okay, the following is going to make a person very strong, irregardless of the body, irregardless of anything else. it comes from the following. A person needs to. I need the other translator to help me with this word. I'm trying to find a good word for the Vietnamese. It's I think I know this one. Okay, a person needs a fulcrum.
Can we just use supporting point? Supporting point. Yeah, supporting point.
It's a saying, somebody said, give me a fulcrum and I can lift up the entire earth. Right? So our fulcrum, it could be our belief, it could be our motivation. Is it a strong belief? Is it strong, whatever it is it our confidence? A person who have a supporting point, a fulcrum, if a person has a confidence, has a motivation, has a belief, and if those are strong enough, then it means that that person has a supporting point, a fulcrum. And with that supporting point, they can do anything. It will make us strong. Doesn't matter who you are, you can be weak, but you give them a supporting point. Then they can leverage the entire planet. They can raise the entire earth. So in our occupation, in the occupation that all of you are doing, you feel strength, you feel confident. If you have strength and confidence in what you are doing, that means you have that supporting point. Who here rely on, let's say, your relationship to be your fulcrum? Who here rely on your money? Somebody says, the philosophy of education is my supporting point. Somebody says that I have a fulcrum as technology, and says I have technology as my fulcrum. Yes. Somebody says they have their husband is the fulcrum. Wow, this and say this woman is very wise, using her husband as the fulcrum. And so we can rely on any supporting point, but wherever we have confidence, I mean we have a fulcrum, that we can be at ease. And anybody who can find a supporting point that is sustainable, then that person is wise. If we rely on relationship and the relationship change, then we lose our fulcrum. So many people are very confident with their relationship, and they rely on the relationship. Somebody say you can rely on the mountain can fall apart. If you rely on a oak tree, the oak tree can fall over. if you rely on people, people can walk away. Some people say self. And say that whomever you rely on, you will get the outcome that is related to that person. Away from you. If you rely on tree can fall over. How about relying on the truth within? So somebody say if you rest on a pillow and you can sleep on the pillow, you can sleep easy. If you rely on the truth within, then you can have serenity and inner peace. Some people can say that you rely on knowledge, and say relying on knowledge is very strong because you can count on the total karmic cognition that we each have. We each have a total causal cognition or total karmic cognition. And that is a way of relying on yourself. Everybody knows we should rely on ourselves. Those mean that we have not clarified that yet. What does it mean to rely on our inner being? Okay, what in our self are we talking about? If we say rely on knowledge, there's so many types of knowledge. You can rely on knowledge and get confident, but which knowledge should be our focus? That is a kind of wisdom. So there are many knowledge before we study about the knowledge of human experience, you already have some supporting point, right? In our work, we have some fulcrum, yeah. There are certain rules of behavior, there are rules of working. Some people only have one fulcrum. When you do business, for example, some people rely on trustworthiness. They only need to rely on trustworthiness. Can they get very strong? Yeah, they are very confident, they're very strong. Some people have on the chat says so as a human being, we always have some supporting point. Okay? In countless knowledges, which knowledge should we choose? Which knowledge should we choose to be the foundational supporting point? And so the sages, beyond the sages, the benevolent friends, the enlightened friends who are beyond even the sages give us the following. The enlightened friends give us where we can support, rely on. You already study on the desirable outcome, right? We already studied about truth. So what can we rely on? What can we leverage in order to get the outcome of life that we want? In order to accomplish the sixth prosperity, the sixth great prosperity, okay? What can we leverage? What can we leverage in order to get the outcome of life that is the sixth great prosperity? Okay, so what should we use as a fulcrum? I have been studying the sixth prosperity for 10 years now. Thanks to having made the Grandmaster up to now, it's about 10 years. I've been inquiring with myself, what is my supporting point that I can leverage in order to get what I want in life? The sixth great prosperity has to have a fulcrum. The realms of living has to have a fulcrum. The dream occupation has to have a fulcrum. It has to have a fulcrum upon which we can leverage in order to achieve what we want. We can't just say philosophy because it's too broad. So, the enlightened people have, the enlightened people have compiled that many people have many different fulcrum. Good mental images is one of those supporting points. Good mental images can be a point of support. You can begin with not having a clear mental images, but when the images get clear, it can become a strong point of support. However, mental images are always clear. Sometimes it gets blurry. Sometimes we want a clear vision, but sometimes the images they don't get clear, not the way we want. And so then we realize that you are only blessed, you are only fortunate that you have clear image. If you have balanced merit, then your image will actually dissipate. Okay, because the balanced merit clear your images. If you accumulated too many bad deeds and if you have negative fortune, then your mental images are negative and bad. So we can kind of take a look and say if we have too many bad images, or if our inner state is too negative, that means we have been accumulated a lot of bad deeds. Some people rely on the blessing and merit. Some people rely on the good deed and the balanced merit. Everything they do, they focus on acquiring and accumulating good deeds and balanced merit. Some people rely on spirituality. There are times we cannot solve problems using science or our own ability, then our supporting point has to turn into religion and spirituality, belief. Some people rely on their own knowledge and understanding. So human beings have many different fulcrum. How about the fulcrum of being holistically wealthy? But that type of fulcrum needs a certain foundation. So it's too many fulcrums. And so human being, we have a problem. As human being, we have a problem is that we have too many different supporting points. We cannot maintain any one single fulcrum. We need to simplify the fulcrum. Because if we have this supporting point, another day we rely on a different supporting point, and after a while, our energy, our strength gets dissipated because we keep on switching supporting point, switching different leverages. And so the enlightened friends have given us the system of reference that can give us one supporting point. The supporting point that the enlightened friends have given us is called a system of reference. So from the moment that we possess this reference system, then we can leverage anything. It doesn't matter which realm of living we are at, which level, which standard of living we are at. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where we are along the journey. But it's the point is where we want to go to. So anybody, doesn't matter what your occupation is, doesn't matter who you are or where you are. Question is, do we want to reach the state of being and the reality of a dream life, of a dream occupation. It doesn't matter where we are in terms of our realm of living. Even if we are living in a realm of living that is high, then we can always go down too. Right? It's like a ladder. We can climb up to a high standard of living or a high realm of living, but it is possible that we can also fall back down to a lower realm of living. And so irregardless of whether we're living high or living low, who knows, our realm of living could change and shift. Our sixth great prosperity may go down whole. Even Teacher Hafi mentioned there are potholes. Right? There are potholes that can catch our sixth great prosperity. Who knows, one fine day we may fall into the ditch even if we have the sixth great prosperity. So what is the fulcrum? Okay, so enlightened friends have given us that if we have a standard reference system, then anything that we want, we can achieve. Anything that we want, and if we have the achieve, we can conquer. So the inquiry that people have is that wherever we are, how can we achieve what it is that we want in life? So there are three standard reference systems. Three reference systems. So you only need to study this module, the three standard reference system. Once we have this three reference system, then you can help another person to achieve their dream reality. With this three reference system, we can determine where a person is and how to get to where they want. And we can apply to ourselves. We can understand where we are and how to get to where we want to be. This is a point of view of religion and faith, okay, and the point of view of science. These are 3 points of view, 3 points of view that can help you explain anything, everything. 3 ways of looking at all things in life. And human life does not exceed beyond these 3 reference systems. Everything that governs our human life and experience, they fall within science, or they fall within religion and faith, or they fall within folk philosophy or moral philosophy. Corresponding to each of these point of view, it can be very big, can be very broad. Some people rely on moral philosophy. They just say, oh, if whatever we do, as long as it is the moral thing to do, if you were to do business, it has to be a moral business. But what does it mean to be moral? What does it mean to be moral in terms of living morally or doing business morally? What about science? Some people rely on science. That means everything has to be clarified through science. But even that is not reliable, because not everything can be explained by science. For example, marriage relationship, that cannot be explained by science. Or what about the point of view of religion? If we rely only on religion, that can be very broad as well. So you know that these three standard systems can be pretty broad, huh? And to step into the world of science is kind of like stepping into a jungle, stepping into the world of religion. Even we don't even know where to begin. And if we step into the world of morality and philosophy, that is such a vast and broad world too, because it governs all of our lives. And so, system of reference comes from this. Each of the reference system come from each of this point of view, and each reference system compile a certain set of concept. It is a source concept of source concept, the source of the source. So when we compile the concept, the source concept of the source concept, we call it a reference system. So each of these perspective or point of view, there is one reference system. Before we study, we only knew a little bit of science, a little bit of religion. But when we start to look at life from a moral philosophical perspective, then wit was born. It is only then that wit is able to give people the reality of understanding. So from the scientific point of view, what do we have? What system of reference do we have? Okay, so when in the scientific perspective, what do we have as a reference system? A bunch of people are saying that is a formula for the root cause of life. From a scientific perspective, is it the human energetic structure? Is it a human construct? Some people are saying the triangle of reality. Some people is saying the formula for the root cause of life. Some people are saying the human structure. Okay. We're giving the participant a chance to interact. Yeah? Okay. So Andy is writing. I'm going to write. So this is a formula for the root cause of life. Okay, or you can just shorten it and say that the root cause formula for the root cause of life, or the root cause formula. So in the religion and faith point of view, we have the human energetic structure, or the human structure, or the human construct. From the moral philosophical perspective or point of view, we have the reality triangle, or triangle of reality. Teacher Nhận says you are so studious. Some people are also very sleeping very well as well. Participant saying, I'm closing my eyes so that I can better absorb the knowledge. Have you guys gotten used to the time yet? Getting up in the morning early. Ever since the pre-mentor, are you all alert? Participants saying that I get up, I exercise. And so in the early days of the mentor classes, many people are very impressed. They're so impressed that they would shake their head. They're so impressed with the knowledge that they would just shake their head. They close their eye and then they would nod. In the early morning, they just close their eye and they're so impressed with the knowledge, they would just shake their head, nod their head, like. Somebody asked a question, how do you see both the speaker as well as the share screen? We all know how to do that, right? In Zoom here, in the English Zoom, we all know how to see both the speaker as well as the share screen, correct? Okay, so you can click on the view option on the upper screen. There are different ways of looking at the screen. You can see both the share screen as well as the speaker. Just play around, okay? So you need to make sure to get used to how to operate Zoom, okay? After this, you're going to be practicing yourself. Should I give you the topic to prepare, or should I teach first? If I give you the topic early, then there's no fun anymore. So Nhận is pondering on whether I should give you guys the topic of sharing before, or tell you later. In general, you just know that you need to open the Zoom and do the sharing. Okay? As long as you comprehend the 3 reference system, if you start to pay attention and know how to share these 3 reference systems, then when it comes to real life practice, you'll be delicious. Okay, so you pay attention to the knowledge and pay attention to the way the knowledge is being shared. Okay. Okay, so 3 reference systems. We get it, right? This 3 reference is the fulcrum. A person who can choose for themselves a point of support. It is a point of support of wisdom and knowledge, because it will encompass all other fulcrum. Somebody mentioned your supporting point could be the truth within, or the emptiness of being. The empty nature, we cannot use that as a supporting point. It is just something that we can anchor in, or we can hold on to. We can hold on to our, we can hold on to the emptiness of being. But if we hold on to the emptiness of being, that means we are not holding on to anything. It could be a point of support. Okay? Semantically speaking, it is a point of support. However, when it comes to terminology, when it comes to terminology of our profession, with the truth within, we say that we are anchoring, or we are holding on to, as opposed to using that as a fulcrum. Okay, so the emptiness of being, our true nature, that is something that we can hold on to, but we don't say that we rely on it. However, holding on to the truth within, does that fall within this fulcrum? Yeah, right? There's the emptiness of being, our true nature. Holding on to that, does it fall within our? Does it fall within our standard reference system? It does. It falls in the religious and faith perspective in the human energetic structure. Human energetic structure, not structure. Okay, structure. Now there's some participant is having their microphone on while they're talking to somebody outside. So we're getting some interruption from mentors who are not managing their microphone. Okay. Master's teacher had said that we want to keep the microphone on so to make it fun. The interaction is fun. Sometimes we get people who are not managing the microphone, so we get interruption from outsiders. One person said that if we turn on the microphone, then we get interruption. And says, don't worry about the interruption, I know when to turn it off. In a few days, and says, be careful if we yell at our husband or our children, or when it's time to take our children to school, and if you misbehave, everybody's going to know it. Because we leave our microphone on. So this is the 3 standard reference system. Become aware of its importance. It is a fulcrum upon which all other point of support will lie. The fulcrum of the desirable reality, the supporting point of total karmic causality. You notice some people rely on their fate, the idea of a karma. So if we rely on our total karma, some people rely on their total karma. It falls within this standard reference system. It falls on the human construct or the human energetic structure. And so, take a look again, the standard reference system. It seems to encompass everything else. Every other useful supporting point that humanity can have. It falls in here. Some people rely on wisdom. Wisdom is their fulcrum. Their ancestors may have taught them that wisdom is all you ever need. And where does wisdom lie? Wisdom lie in this one, the reality triangle. Okay, wisdom lie in the reality triangle. That is a supporting point. It is the knowing, the believing, and understanding. Some people rely on their virtue and character. They say living require virtue, integrity, and character. What is that? That falls in the reality triangle too. Oh, the reality triangle is a system of reference that enables to encompass everything else. Anything that needs to be clarified is knowing and believing and understanding. Here's the thing, some people can act, but they cannot pass on to others. Some people have wisdom, but it takes a long time for them to pass on to other people. Imagine the imagine the old, wise, long-haired, bearded, white-bearded men, people of wisdom. They have wisdom, but they cannot pass it on to other people. But the reality triangle is a reference system that we can use to transmit it to other people. You can give other people your reality. In general, all the standard reference system can simplify all of life. As long as we fully, completely comprehend these 3 standard reference systems and knowing when to use which reference system. When to use images of the root cause, when to use moral philosophy. Other time, we will need to talk about the human structure. We don't need to take all of the entire standard reference system. We just need to start to initiate the truth within, and then all images will disappear. Other time, we need to clarify images. If we just stay in emptiness, then there is no image anymore. We can't do anything with it. But if we see somebody who have, let's say, a realm of living of level 5, oh, that is an image. But we need to be able to transmit that in terms of reality. We have to understand what they know, what they believe, what they understand, so that we can take it, so we can absorb it and transmit it, receive it. You get it? Did I speak too quickly? Do we need me to slow it down and summarize everything? Okay, let's repeat. Firstly, we understand that human beings have many different points of support. Know that a system of reference encompasses the many supporting points that a person has. Okay? A standard reference system encompasses all the fulcrum that a person has.
We need to somehow hand the board out. I'll try to find out how.
Can you be aware that there are many points of support, but a system of reference encompasses all the points of support? Okay? When you take a look at it, and if we rely on people, in which standard reference system? It is the human structure. If we understand the human nature, then we can relate to them. Okay? And so all points of reference, all points of support fall within a standard reference system. So a standard reference system encompasses all fulcrums. And if we want a person to have a good life, then we can rely on a system of reference to give them all the supporting points that they need in order to leverage the outcome of life. Other participants are saying, okay, we get it. And so if we fully comprehend all of these supporting points, anything that is related to the standard reference system, we know it, understand it completely. And knowing when to use which standard reference system, that is wisdom. Realm of living. Okay, we want to pursue realm of living. Where do we start? We have to start with human structure. Has to initiate a desire. Desire is part of the human structure. Okay? And intention, and notion, those are supporting points. Where, as I share these ideas, I will let you know which supporting point we're talking about. But at this point, have you seen any changes in your life? Right, there's been transformation, right? Your life has changed already, right? You have all transformed and you want to help other people transform, right? That's why we are here.
No.
And so if you have already transformed, that means you have relied on many different supporting points, many different knowledges. The three reference systems will help us summarize all of those supporting points. If you come into the mentor program, then that means you need to fully comprehend everything. the teachers will help you maximize your comprehension. And then you will know when to use which reference system. That is what we need to do. To fully comprehend and to know when to use which. That's all. Get it? Quiet in the all the mentors, participant and learners room. Okay. If we have that awareness, then we can begin. In the next few days, we will go along, okay, step by step, we'll comprehend everything. Okay, how do we start? Let's begin with standard reference system. 3 standard reference system. Which one should we start with? Which one do you want to start first? How do you want to start? Do we want to do moral philosophy? A bunch of participants is saying, let's start with moral philosophy. Another one says that we will do what you teach. Another person say, let's start with the root cause formula. Another person say, let's begin with the human construct. Somebody say, and says, how we begin will determine the outcome. If Mentor 7 has a lot of inquiry, if you want to begin with the reality triangle, then you have to have a lot of inquiry. You have to be a master of perspective. But if we start with the human construct, then all resentment and blame will disappear. If we begin with the root cause formula first, then all the resentment will disappear. And anything that you want will be clarified. It will help you clarify what you want. Okay? But it will stop at the level of knowing. If we begin with the root cause formula, if we begin with the human construct, then if we start with the human construct, if you have enough power, no other classes had enough power to begin with the human construct. There is a price that we have to pay. The price that we pay is that if you begin with human construct, then we will lose many people. We will actually lose a lot of people. That is the price. If we begin with reality triangle, then people will get headaches and neck ache. But this class probably not. But I think this class there is a seed of master of perspective. With the reality triangle, we need to, you guys have the seed of a master of perspective. Somebody say, let's start with all 3. And say, well, of course we're going to do all 3 if they're all related. Students say, we trust you, teacher, you choose for us. We're hearing different choices. let's draw a reality triangle. With respect to the community class, when we speak, here's a tip. When we talk in the community class, don't begin with the reality triangle. Don't begin with the reality triangle. If we speak to the community, okay? If we speak to the community, we need to start. What should we start first? A bunch of people are saying we should start with the root cause formula. We need to begin with what they know. We need to begin with what they know. We need to begin with the root cause formula. Okay? From the scientific point of view. But since you guys already have the knowing, okay, I'm going to begin with the reality triangle. Hopefully, in Mentor 7, if we choose reality triangle, I see a lot of people choosing triangle of reality. Then when we initiate with the reality of triangle reality, then we're going to have a lot of reality. You will be more comprehensive than many other mentors. Okay, your comprehension will be deeper and broader than the other mentor classes. So let us draw the reality triangle. And then we'll write the word reality. Okay, reality. A participant say that we have not heard much about reality triangle, and it's usually with the reality triangle only beginning in the mentor and the master classes that we have time to explain the reality triangle. If we talk much about the reality triangle in the community classes, they run away. The participant is saying that even now the reality triangle is ambiguous for me. And I'm saying, yeah, that's how we begin to study out. Reality. With respect to previous mentor classes, previous mentors and masters, remember this. Whichever reference system that you begin first, you will get a different outcome. Okay? Each reference system will be appropriate with different type of people. A person who spend more time on certain reference system, it will determine the outcome in life. A person who is comprehensive in all three, they will get a different outcome. If one person is more leaning toward one angle, they're going to get a specific outcome. Okay? And so the way you talk to other people, mentors and masters, from now, when we talk to others, how you decide to start, which reference system you start with is going to determine the outcome, and it's going to be different. And you can use this in business or you can use it in sharing. If you spend a lot of time in business using the scientific or the formula for the root cause of life, you're going to get a lot of value in return. Any business who uses the human structure as a fulcrum, that business or the organization will have serenity. They will have inner being. Okay, so they solve a lot of problems in the business or the organization with the knowledge of the inner being if we focus on the human structure. In business, if you apply the scientific formula for the root cause of life, you can make a lot of money. It's all related to material manifestation. If we want to have a reality of life that is good, then use the reality triangle. I mention that because there is a Zoom comprising of the previous mentors and masters. Okay, so I'm using the reality of Mentor 7 in order to speak to the previous mentors as well, because they are in the Zoom as well. So it doesn't matter which you choose, any reference you choose, but in this class, let us begin to help you with the reality triangle. Sorry, asking teacher to slow down a little bit. Okay. Okay, so let us begin with the reality triangle. We're going to begin with the drawing of the triangle, write the word reality. Then next you can write a participant is saying, let's choose all three. And say, of course, we're going to choose all three. But statistically speaking, okay, some people lean one way or another. But my point is that after you learn all three, then you will be able to determine which one you lean toward more often. If you notice that you tend to lean toward one corner or another, then you can switch back so that it becomes more balanced. Okay, so the projection of the reality that after you have learned, you will notice that people, as well as yourself, have a certain tendency. Statistically speaking, they will lean toward one corner or another. And it will be a choice to choose which corner of the three reference system that you want to invest more time in. And each of that will have a different outcome. Okay, so go ahead and write information, okay, energy, anything that is foundational that you need. You can go back to the inner being classes and review. In the mentor class, we will speak it a little bit differently. Okay, so all reality of life comes from information, energy, and material, right? There is information, there is an energy, and there is a material expression. Okay, material here means material expression, or the physical manifestation. What does it mean, reality? Reality is the outcome, the fruit that we experience right now in life. Okay, something that exists right now. A reality is an outcome, a fruit of life that we currently have. Okay, it is an outcome of life that we currently have. It could be some material that we possess. It could be gold that we are possessing. Then money that we possess. Okay? Possess and not possess. We need to understand that in a material way, there is a reality of a house, right? Is there a reality of a phone? Okay, a cell phone. Anything that we have. But there is also a reality of energy. Correction, reality of competency. Right? Our capability and competency is a form of, it is an outcome. What about knowledge and understanding? That is also a reality, right? The reality of knowledge and understanding. And so, irregardless of which reality, it could be a material or non-material, it also have a material expression of it. Whether it's material or non-material, it has a material expression. Okay? Whether our reality is material or non-material, they all have a material expression. Okay? There is an expression, a manifestation. If it is an object, that house has a material expression of a house. Gold has a material expression of gold. Lead has a material expression of lead. Okay? It is the outward expression our own competency. Our own competency does it not express outwardly. So irregardless of which reality, there is always that expression. This is the material expression. Okay, they express materially. And that reality also have an energy component. Does it carry an energy? A reality of good health? Sometimes we have a reality of good health, but sometimes we have a reality of not so good health. The energy is different, right? Those 2 points in time, yes. Sometimes we have peace, inner peace. At other time, we suffer pain. Okay? Yes. We worry, right? Our pain and suffering, those are undesirable things. Sometimes we have that reality. Then at that point, they have an expression, material that is different, and they have an energy that is different. At some point we are confident. At other time we feel inferior. They both carry an energy that is different. And importantly, at that moment, at those two different instances, they carry different information. We get it, right? The information that we contain within us in our head, at those two instances, the information is different, therefore our energy is different, and therefore the material expression is also different. From when we are confident and versus when we are inferior, when we are good health and we are in bad health. So whenever our information is different, our energy is different, and our material expression is different. Same thing with an object. Two different iPhones, for example, two iPhones on the same batch. Is it different? Two iPhones have been created in the same batch. They're pretty much the same. The amount of money that you pay for is about the same. So two iPhones have been created at the same time. Are they the same or different? If they have been produced in the same batch, and somebody say, well, they have different serial number, okay? They may come out a little bit differently. They may have different information. So what if I say they are of the same color? If they have the same manufacturer, the same location, a participant argue that, well, they are actually created at two different instances in time, therefore they are different. And participants say it can be different, depending on how we use it as well. A participant is saying they have different information, but on the outside they look the same. And says, do you know that each object, let's say we want to have a phone, let's say we want to have a phone, and in countless numbers of iPhone on the shelf, they're all the same same price, same color, yet, but we carry an energy. That phone has an energy. But when we initiate a intention, and that intention only corresponds to one phone. If we want that phone and we have enough money to exchange it for it, then even if two different phones sitting next to each other, only one of them belongs to us on an energetic level. In countless numbers of phones, but the reality of that one object has an energy that corresponds to our energy, then one next to it is actually different. It belongs to another person because its energy is different. Even though it looks the same, get it right here? Yeah. So it is the energy vibration. So an object, let's say we don't have it yet. Yet in the future, we can have it. It is possible that in the future, even though we don't have it now, can we have it in the future? Some people say, what if I buy both of them? And say, well, yeah, you can buy both of them. You're going to use both of them. But then all the rest belongs to other people. So between the two of them, if you choose one, then the one that matches with our energy, then we will possess it because it has an information that is different. It may have some similarity, but there is a difference in energy. Therefore, the secret of the reality of object, everything that we ever want is out there. It is available. Every object, material object that is out there is available, okay, for us. The question is whether we are energetically compatible with it. Do we resonate with it in order to possess it? The Thailand people have a saying, anything that we have is, we're sure that we have it. Anything that is us, anything that we have, we are sure that we have, that we own it. If we understand that, then there's a little bit of human construct in here, but in the reality triangle, when we possess the information, if our intention, if our mental image is a form of information, a material object has an energy, it has an information. We also have energy. The material expression is the same. So don't worry about the material expression. Instead, we want to focus on the information. Do we really want it? Do we have a desire? Once we initiate a desire, then there is a connection to the material outcome. Because that reality is sure to exist. It has an energy. It has a vibrational energy. If our vibrational energy resonates with it, if an object has a high vibration energy and we're too low, then we cannot possess it. If our energy is really high and the object is really low, we don't possess it either. Let's say something has low energy. Let's say some object with low energy. Sometimes we cannot even do the kind of thing that is low in energy either, because it isn't compatible with us. Has anybody here, let's say before our life was good and healthy, we can eat anything we want. At some point when we become healthy, we're no longer able to eat a certain food anymore. We can no longer choose that restaurant that we used to be able to eat. And we wonder why we used to be able to eat a certain food that is lower in energy than it is that we are now. And so we have just changed our energy, our vibrational energy. Our energy has just vibrated in a higher frequency. And if an object is of a vibrational energy frequency that is lower than us, then we will not possess it. It's not about high or low. It is about if we want to possess the reality, then we have to be a vibrational energy match. We have to resonate at the same frequency level with that object. If anybody wants to possess material wealth, for example, then your energy has to be a vibrational energy match for material wealth. If anybody wants to experience an even higher vibrational energy level in terms of a reality, then their vibrational energy frequency has to be high enough to resonate with it. Okay? What do you want to write down? We want to write down that we are here today because we are vibrational energy frequency match for this reality. Okay? Let us learn the information in such a way that if we change the information, then we can change the energy so that the energy will vibrate in a matching resonance with what we want. Study in such a way so that our energy will change in such a way that the energy will vibrate at a frequency level that is a match for what we want. Okay? For now, you understand that any material expression, any reality, has information, energy, and material expression. Okay? That is the first awareness that we need to comprehend at this moment in time. Do you guys get that? Okay? If you can understand that all reality have an information, energy, material expression, and if we ever want to possess any material object, a house, a car, anything, or gold, let's talk about the material expression of gold. When we later share about the reality triangle, you need to go back to the inner being class. Okay? Don't try to imprint the mental classes. Okay? The mental class is not for imprinting and using and sharing to the community. The mental class is designed to help you comprehend deeply and fully. But in order to share with other people, you want to imprint the sharing of the community class. When we talk about reality triangle, we always use the example of gold and lead, right? Lead and gold. We always use the example of lead and gold. Okay, this is how to share. Okay, if you guys are preparing to share, this is how to share with the community. We always use the example of lead and gold. The reality of gold. Okay, let's talk about reality of gold. When we mention gold, a person who wants to possess the reality of gold, then what do they need to have? They need to have a kind of information energy that is a match of gold. If anybody ever say that gold is so expensive, we never are able to possess it, then immediately that information within them is not compatible. Right? If we say that gold is too expensive, that means that information within us at that moment is not compatible, and therefore we will never be able to possess it. Not only that, the material, the image, the mental image of gold being too expensive for us to possess, then we will never experience the reality of having gold. Because the energy is not compatible and our information is not appropriate. Okay? Our information is already incompatible with the reality of possessing gold. But if a person can initiate an intention, okay, so it may be expensive, but I want it. I desire it. If they desire, they need to go to work on it. You need to accumulate. Okay, may not be able to buy a lot at once, but we can buy a little, and then over time you will possess it. We have a reality right now. Anybody up to now, before somebody said gold is very expensive. Before now, let's just compare to before. Back then, our energy was low, and we see that gold was too expensive. At that time, we knew that gold is expensive, but it doesn't matter about the price. They only need to know that they want, that they only know that they desire. All they gotta do is change the information in such a way that will be a match for the price of gold. So what kind of information do we need? Okay, we'll go into detail later, but we only need to know that if we want to possess a reality, then first we need to know that it has an information, it has an energy, and it has a material expression. If we want to possess that material, then all we need to have is the information and energy, and that is a match for that object. You gotta get that? Because when it comes to reality, it is a informational match, energy match. If a person has a certain competency or power that we want to possess, let's say the competency of swimming, the power to swim, okay, it is a skill. Okay, it is the reality of skill. Let's say we have a reality of swimming. Then what kind of information do we need in order to possess it? What kind of energy is related? What is the material expression? Material expression are the mental images. Okay, what is the material expression of swimming? If we can accumulate information, energy, and material expression, and we want that reality, then we find the person who has that material expression, that we can see their material expression, and then you ask them what kind of information do they have. So give it to us so that we can possess that information. And then we will become energetically compatible. We will resonate. Okay? For energy, you can slash the word. When it comes to energy and compatibility, you just have to write down that desire and you like. If you like it or if you desire, that is enough to resonate on an energetic level. What we want, first we have to like it, okay? And we want it. Like it and wanting it. Anything that we like and desire, you notice that anything that you like and you desire, after a while you possess. If we can maintain the liking and the desiring, then after a while we will possess. If we can maintain the liking and the desiring, then over time we will possess. Doesn't matter how long, eventually we will touch it. Liking and desiring is the energetic compatibility with the possessing. Okay? So in summary, the first point, the key point with respect to reality triangle is that any reality, you understand that every reality has an information, energy, and material expression. If we want that reality, then we need to have the compatible information. We need to have a energy, and we have to have a mental images that is equivalent to the material expression. We see it. If we can do that, then the reality triangle, that is the first potential and power of the reality triangle. Okay, the first utility of the reality triangle is to help us acquire and possess the reality that we want. Okay? I will talk to you about how it helped in different areas of life later. if we want the reality of happiness, if we want the reality of happiness, then what do we need to do? What is the material expression of happiness? Do we know what that looks like? Do we know what the material expression of happiness looks like? Then we begin to clarify the material expression of a happy person. What does it look like? What is the energy of a happy person? What kind of information does a happy person have? What kind of information regarding happiness do they have? Then, once we have that, then we can talk to them. Miss Đinh Thị Phượng has a question. Did you want to say something? Đinh Thị Phượng wanted to ask earlier today. Do you still want to ask now? I would like to ask, with respect to a human being, the information that we have and the energy that we have at the beginning, like and wanting, if the information we have but not enough, and the material expression is that which the behavior and the action, when they are a new person, then we can take a look at them from their facial expression and their behavior, and say, if you want, let's say you want the reality of happiness. Do you want the reality of happiness? Most people want a reality of happiness. And so we have to first know that happiness is very vague. Happiness is so ambiguous. Nobody clear. That is why many people chase happiness and they can never find it, because it's so vague. Some people say that having enough knowledge is being happy, that's it. Satisfaction is enough, contentment is enough. But even after a while, contentment is enough, but not all the time can you have contentment. But if your realm of living is not fulfilled, then they will not be happy. It looks like it's time that people are yelling at their kids. Okay, let's continue. Don't think that it's difficult. Don't see any. Don't think that people are opening their mic and speaking out of turn to be. Don't let that be a barrier, because there are many lessons. Many people. I see some people saying that you need to manage your microphone. Don't let that become a barrier to learning. Managing microphone is my job. You may learn a lot. In the future, you may not have a chance to go back in a circumstance where you have people talking randomly on the mic. Let's take a look at the previous mentor. Even now, if you wanted to go back and study the way you did, mentor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you don't have the same setting. Mentor 7 is your mentor 7. This is your last setting, last chance to be mentor 7. Okay. So, reality of happiness. We want the reality of happiness. What? At a fundamental level, happiness is a reality. Then it has to have a material expression. It has to have the energy, and it has to have information relating to happiness. Right? The reality of happiness, the person who possesses happiness, they have some information, they have some energy, and they have some material expression of happiness. If we can become aware of that, then we can quickly acquire that reality. We only need these 3 words, information, energy, and material. Then we can use this as a fulcrum to take with us everywhere we go. Then we see anybody with a reality that we like, a delicious reality that we want, then immediately we know that they have information, energy, and they have a material expression. We just complete the triangle. First, how do we start? First, look, what is the material expression? Can we see it? If we see it, then we can have it. If we don't see the expression, then we don't have it. We can be with them for too long, so close. It's like we are so, if we stay to somebody, close to somebody for so long, we may not even see their material expression. But if we're close to them enough, we may be infected by the information with them. We may be infected by their energy. And after a while, we will express the same way, but we don't even realize it. That is a power of collective synergy as well as the imprinting method that we use. When a bunch of people together experience the same setting, they will infect each other on an energetic level, on an information level, and then on a material expression level. So the reality of a person of success. In the realm of living, with Goldhap, he talked about the reality of success, the reality of happiness. We had some drawing, right, with respect to the reality of success and happiness. Right, maturity, right, we have a reality of maturity. There are triangle of realities that we have drawn. Although we don't have it. Some participants say we don't have it yet. Okay, we don't have it, that's fine. Then in the next few days, then I will share it with you. Outcome, right? And says, yeah, but it may not be clear. First, you need to be clear. You need to realize that realize will nurture the reality. A positive reality of another person will nurture our own reality. If we understand the reality triangle, then it's very, very excellent. Understanding reality triangle, we can consciously not acquire the negative reality. But any positive reality that we want, then we can initiate the desire and we can go through the process of completing that triangle and we acquire for us. Any reality that other people have that we consider positive and desirable, we can use that to nurture our own reality. Participants say that if we want something, then we just need to go and accumulate all the information. And says the information comes from the other person. If the person who has that reality cannot give you all the information that you need, then you need to go find another person who will give you the information. Because sometimes the person who has the reality may not be able to give you all the information. But at the same time, as we are accumulating the information from different person, we are also receiving the energy from that person, and we see the material expression. Here, we're not going to say that our inner state is balanced and positive just yet. Because in order to have the balance and positive, you need to have a fulfilled awareness just yet. You were talking about the fulfilled awareness. You were correct. However, I need to clarify for you. Okay, we're talking to Mr. Dao An. Okay. Participant Dao An is saying, I'm grateful to you, the teacher. I've been studying many times, but I'm not clear yet. Grateful to you and everybody for help me understand. It is like a secret that I have been seeking, and it is now that I've come to a realization that any material expression that we desire, we we need to acquire the information that will give rise to the energy. And says that if you have this mentality, if you have this inner awareness, then you're going to have a wonderful reality. And you're going to get gold with this realization. Anything that is good, any outcome that another person have, if we are not clear, but the sages help us clarify, it comes from information, energy, and material, irregardless of which reality. All you need to know is here. Then, once we get that information, energy, and material, determine a material expression. And if we want anything, then we can quickly get the information and energy. The energy part is one way that can get us to acquire it very quickly. Acquiring, accumulating merits and blessings, blessings and merits, or good deed and balanced merit is a way to quickly acquire the material expression. If our information is negative, then that means you have a information. If the information within us is negative or counter to our desire, then we have already broken the reality in the first place. That is why in the inner being class we always begin by talking about the barriers, right? The barriers to awareness. Why in the inner being courses, in the community classes, we talk about the barriers at the beginning. We say that so that people can remove the barrier of thinking it's so hard. If we start talking about, well, holistic wealth, everybody's gonna say, oh, that's so difficult. Holistically wealth, holistically healthy, everybody's going to give up and say, oh, that's so hard. How are we going to help them acquire the information regarding the holistic wealth? If a person at the beginning feels that it is difficult to become holistically wealthy, that's why at the beginning we have to try to remove the barrier to awareness. Then we can give them the appropriate information with respect to the holistic wealth. If we can remove a person's barrier to awareness, at least we give them a chance to continue the study. And we keep on saying that it's very simple, very simple. Because simplicity is not just from saying it, simplicity comes from knowing the information. For a person who has the information, it's very simple. A person who has no information, it's going to be very hard for them. Whatever we need to do, and we know how to do it, and it becomes simple. But if we are not clear about the information, then any task can be complicated and hard. And so we say, it's not hard, it's not easy, it's just simple. We don't say it's hard or easy, we just say it's simple. With information, with knowing, it becomes simple. We can't say something is hard or easy. Later on, when you start to do the sharing and the coaching, you will receive some formula. When we have the information makes it simple. And we are completely confident when we have the information. We have the system of references, so we have confidence. That is the secret of strength of a person, the power, the confidence, the knowledge, and the thorough comprehension. When we can sit down with a person, they will ask us a certain question. They will see that we seem to be able to explain everything. We can explain everything, and we know how to navigate to getting there. As long as the clear mental images. The mental images are sometimes clear, sometimes not so clear, but at least we have to try to be clear. So we need to find the person who has the reality. that they can give us the information, then we can find things to be very simple. But understanding the reality of life, then we will have a wonderful future. Any reality that we want, what do we need to do? Need to clarify the information. We clarify the energy and resonate at the same frequency, and clarify the material expression, which is the mental images. This is how we can acquire any desirable reality from another person, and then from this reality triangle, we can give it to other person. Okay? It is the receiving and the giving. The participant saying is, I'm very happy. I feel like the universe is in my hand. Okay. Wow, it is already 6:30, huh? Question from a participant. Go ahead. If we have a reality triangle, and when we look and we see it's simple to clarify our desire, clarify the mental images in order to have the reality. But in life, if anybody know, then they can have the desirable life. But in reality, Nhận said, you know why? Question is why? That is because they don't have the reality triangle. Not everybody. That is why many people don't have a reality triangle. That is why their reality outcome is not what they want. That is the job of the mentor. Job of the mentor is we have the reality triangle. We can transmit the reality to another person. Otherwise, we can just talk to another person. They may see that we are happy. But if we don't know why we're happy, then we cannot transmit the reality to other people. It is only knowing the reality triangle that can we transmit it to other people. First, we begin by transmitting the information. You need to have this information, this. You transmit that. You can, my reality has a certain energy. Show the energy. Express it in material form. Then, and a bunch of people with the same reality, then a new person who comes into an environment where many people have the reality, then the new person is going to acquire that same reality. This is the power of community, of collective synergy. If anybody have a community, bring this to your community. Start by transmitting the information as many people as you can so that they have the information. Then a new person who jump into the community, they will immediately acquire the same reality. It shortened the process by which they acquire the reality. Before then, a person wants, let's say, serenity and inner peace. See how, you know how long it takes for a person to have inner peace? You know how long? Oh, it could be many years, it could be an entire lifetime. A person may not even have an instant moment of inner peace. But if we have the reality of serenity and inner peace, and you know how to transmit, you don't need to go and prove it. You don't need to, you don't need to put a stamp on serenity, but they're gonna feel it. And the power is from this reality. We have the triangle of reality of serenity and inner peace. We have the reality triangle of inner peace. What about tolerance and magnanimity? Tolerance is a difficult thing to do. A person needs to be very blessed in order to be tolerant of other people, because people are very simple to become angry and delusional. But we have the reality triangle of tolerance. Then we can transmit tolerance and magnanimity to other people. There's a question from a participant. Let the other participant finish yet. Ms. Kim Lee, let her finish. Because not a lot of people have the reality of triangle reality. To know one thing, participants say knowing requires time to acquire and how we can express ourselves, right? And say, well, they know, but they may not understand. They may hear about the triangle of reality, they may know, but they don't understand it yet. They don't know that they have it in their hand. This is important. Let us turn off the microphone. They don't know that they have the reality triangle. And they don't understand that having reality triangle will give them the reality that they want. The reality angle has not only the knowing, but there is also the believing and the understanding. Some people may know, but they don't believe and they don't understand, then they're not going to be able to get it. It takes a long time. Anybody who have the knowledge and the belief and the understanding, then they can acquire the reality very quickly. Like when you join the mentor, it is only now that you have begun to understand the reality triangle. Whereas in the community inner being class, we don't have time to help you understand and comprehend. We just give you the knowing. But in here, you have the 8 month. There is the daily interaction, and it will make it simple for you to understand and comprehend. In the next few days, whenever you interact with one another, whenever while you interact with your friend, if you need to clarify something, you can send me a text message. I can jump into your group and I can help you clarify and understanding these topics. Okay? For example, coming in here, there's time for us to understand. It is only in this setting that we can quickly acquire the reality that we want. And to help other people. Okay? Our job as mentors is not just for fun. Okay? When you interview, it is the desire to help other people that you are here. If you study to transform, that's fine. But if you study to help other people transform, then your transformation will be faster. And the power is that even we may not have the mature expression of something. We see somebody else have the material expression, we talk to them, we get the information, we get their energy, and then we can transmit to another person, and then we can actually transmit the reality, even though we may not have the material expression of it yet. It's like the hands, okay? It is having nothing, yet we can give to people reality. We may not have the reality of something, but we keep talking about it, and we can transmit to another person. And I have this 6th grade prosperity 9 years now. At that time, I was young, I didn't have anything yet. All I had was information. I don't have the reality of material expression of the 6th grade prosperity. All I had was information. I only had the energy is the belief. I did not have the reality of the 6th grade prosperity. But I hear the people who have the reality from an energetic level. I can hear. I took their energy, I borrowed their energy and the information, and I keep talking. And after a while, then one day, I was able to transmit the reality of the secret prosperity to other people, even though I did not have it. But over time, at some point, one fine day, I begin to have it. You get it? Okay, if you can give me the permission to speak a little longer, maybe 5 minutes. Firstly, okay, so please give me permission to speak a little longer. Normally, we usually stop at 6:30, right? Do we usually start earlier or later? Sometime? Okay, sometime later, right? Okay. Seven o'clock, there is a physical education class. So, as a mentor, we need to use the standard reference system. We need to use the reality of triangle in our sharing with other people. Okay? Let's call on Miss Maya. Let's give Maya Nguyen a chance to speak. Okay, Maya. I had my hand raised for a long time, but the part that you were talking answered some of my inquiry. And so I've been acquiring information, and when we hear another person, then my energy elevates, and then eventually I can acquire. In my life, with respect to material wealth, I can acquire fairly easy, maybe because of my fortune, my good fortune, I'm blessed. But with respect to my health has not been very blessed. And I'm guessing that is because I did not have good information with respect to health. And so I try to acquire information of the people who have good health, um, who know how to run, for instance. And so when you said that there is a two-way dimension to this reality triangle, there is the acquiring and then there is the giving. And I know that is because I have not been giving or transmitting to another person, other people. Maybe that is because I did not have the reality that I want because I have not been sharing with other people. And said we need to understand all three reference systems in order to better explain it. Just because sometimes you may have the reality of material wealth. It's fast for you, but the reality of health is long. Other people have the reality of family relationship. It's fast, but for them the reality of material wealth can be slow. Maya said, is it related to the merits and the blessing? And say, yes, it is related to those other reference systems as well. But for now, in today, we are only talking about the information, the energy, and the material. If we do not have the reality material expression yet, then we need to make sure that we have good quality information. That is the first step, the priority. Secondly, we need to accumulate positive images. Find a person to have those images. Secondly, in order to raise our energy, we need to accumulate the good deed and balanced merit. Help other people acquire the same reality. For some people who have a good energy, we just need to mention it, and then they already have a balanced and positively oriented energy. For some, that's very simple for them, because they have a lot of merits and blessings just yet. Then immediately their energy resonates. But they don't have information. If they have own information, their reality triangle breaks. Meaning, as long as they still have the blessings and the merit, they have the reality. But when their merit and blessing goes away, they deplete their good fortune, then their reality breaks. Some people, most people, when they have the energy aspect, right, the blessings and the merits, then let's say the reality of material world, they can acquire very quickly. But they don't have the information, so they can quickly burn their fortune. They can lose their material fortune very quickly. But having a good quality information about material wealth will help you maintain sustainability of the reality. Participant is saying that some people who have the energy aspect to have a lot of good fortune and blessing, then they can have the reality, but because they don't have the information, they don't know how to transmit it or maintain it. And I can say that a lot of people, when they have a good blessing, they have a reality. But when the material is, when the reality is very rich, then they don't bother accumulating information. It is only when they lose it, it is only when they file bankruptcy, or only when they lose their health that they have to go back and find the information. Right? It is the hope that acquiring the information in order to reacquire the reality. So participants say, let me summarize. So if you know why we have the reality, that means we have the information and we have the energy. That means we can maintain. And say, yeah, then you help other people acquire it. Participants say, when it comes to health, in my 25th year, my information have been enough that my health was good. But when 30 years old, or 30 something after I gave birth, then I started to have pain. So my inquiry is that how come I've already achieved the reality of health in my 25th years, and then after my 30th year, I've lost the acquired the reality of health. And says that there are more information that you need. Okay? What information that you have was enough, but when you've lost it, then there are other information that you still need to acquire. We will dig deeper later. As a mentor, we will discover that when a person is lacking some information, we can give them the information. As you study, when you sit down, you will discover a person, what kind of information they are missing. You will know. If we have a material expression of reality, we can share with them. If not, then we can share the information and the energy. Nothing to worry about. You just need to acquire the right kind of information in order to bolster and support your reality. Participants say, I'm grateful. Excellent. And say, wow, you're such a good student. Participants say, thank you so much for everybody for beholding me. Miss Hong Min is speaking. And say there are topics that we will talk more later. Okay, let's for those who have the hand on, let's wait for tomorrow. Because if we keep on talking more, it'll go down to a spiral, and you will stop working, and I will stop sleeping, so we can talk some more. So we can just anchor it here. Okay, if you can become aware that all reality has information, energy, and material expression. If you know that, you will win no battle. If you want any reality, all we need is what? We need the information. We need to have the same energy. We need to have the same material expression. That's it. Participant has an inquiry. When it comes to information, how do we know if the information is good or bad? And say there's no right or wrong when it comes to information. However, if the information has not given you the material expression, then change the information. Okay? Let me ask you, what is the fastest way to get to my house? What is the fastest way to get to my house? The answer is, ask me. How else to know what's the fast way to get to my house besides asking me? Same thing. So if you have you know somebody who has the reality, you ask them. But we have to know, we have to understand that they have the reality because they have the information. But if we don't have that awareness that they have the information, then we just say, oh, that's so cool. Then we are not able. If speaking to them, we don't get that they have the information, then our interacted with them, we are not able to complete the reality triangle. But once we have this drawing, this diagram, okay, this is a basic diagram of the reality triangle, then we talk to another person, and they have a material expression of reality that we want, then the way we speak to them, we can acquire it by asking the right kind of question and gathering the right kind of information. Our mind will actually organize and distribute the information appropriately. Okay, that's enough. Let's stop today. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay, people are saying goodbye for our Zoom in English. Let's, time for us to do some sharing, question, lesson impression, realization. All right. For our Zoom, would you guys care? Look like that Anne has left the Zoom. Okay, so for our group here, house 339, right? Let's have some hands. Let's have some sharing. Any inquiry? Any impression? Okay, Mr. Ron, please go ahead.
Morning, everyone. Yeah, this triangle of reality reminded me of how I got into wit to begin with. As you know, my wife is in Mentor 6. She just graduated, and last December I went to an offline with her. I had no intention of going into wit. I was just there for a holiday, and I was there while she was in the course, and they included me in the program, and they designated a couple of interpreters for me. But what it was, a lot of times I would just ignore the interpreter. I was listening to Taekwondo because I felt the energy from him, even though I didn't understand what he was saying. I was still getting the material, and it gave me the desire to want to learn more. So even just listening to him, it created a reality triangle for myself. And here I am today, learning wit. And I appreciate that. And it was good. I really enjoyed that program. And that's how this triangle kind of related everything to my life right now. So. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. So grateful for that sharing. So it looks like you acquired the energy aspect, but you saw the material expression. You saw the mental images of the Dawn. You saw other mentors. You have an image. You have the material expression. You acquire the energy aspect. You became a resonating vibrational energy frequency resonating with that. You feel that. And now you're completing that by acquiring the appropriate information. And from
I was getting information through translators, but at times they had to do other things on their own, so I was just listening and just listening to his voice and even laughing. I was laughing with them, and I didn't even know what they were laughing about, but just the energy of that laughter and everything there just gives you that vibrational frequency that you want to learn more.
Awesome, and now your reality triangle is complete, and you can share this with other people.
Yes.
That's the beauty and the power of it. That's essentially what it means to be a mentor wit. To be able to receive, to have the awareness that there is a triangle of reality to all things. And now that you know how it works, we understand how we have that reality, and that is the receiving part. And now you can use the same tool, the same standard reference system of reality triangle when we speak to other people. Now we can consciously, when we speak to other people who have a certain reality that we want, we can consciously dig for the information. Not only do we just passively acquire the energy by just being in the vicinity, not only do we see their material expression in terms of our visual images, but we can consciously dig for the information, ask them the right kind of question that will give us the information. And when we have that, we can transmit it back to other people.
And watching my wife go through through Mentor 6, I've seen the transformation in her. Now when she's sharing with people, it gives you good energy as well. I can hear what she's sharing in English, and it feels good. The energy is very good.
Okay, thank you for that. Who else would like to share?
What do we have to do, Lucky?
When do you guys meet with your group? Is it right now?
I think yes. I think it's tomorrow on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. So you have a specific day to meet with your group. Okay. Okay.
Yes, I think we did change it till Tuesday. Until
Right,
Tuesday.
everybody, I think it's tomorrow. I think Dawn is not here.
Okay. Well, does anybody want to say anything before we, disconnect and say goodbye for today?
Hi everyone, thank you. Thanks
Okay.
Frank.
If there's nobody want to say anything, then
Thanks Frank. Hey, it's me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'll take over if no one else wants to share with Frank because we can do a little admin work before we move on. Also, so I think Frank, you're done with everyone else in terms of I think he's talking to someone else now. Okay. So excuse my video, everyone. So with tomorrow we have a house meeting, as I saw in the chat that it's moved to Tuesday instead of Monday. Today there's a few questions that I would love for you to contemplate in terms of the statements that Nhận in all his shares. I think there's three things. First of all, that at the beginning when he was talking about which one should I share first. So that's assuming that everyone already knows the three reference systems. Yeah? And if you don't know them, then it's best to go and seek information, otherwise reach out to your house. Study buddy being the first one, and of course then all your support masters, which is one of them, that's myself, and then Thấu and also called Hiểu. So reach out to them for extra support if you haven't got it. And this advice I would give to all the houses, as in if you don't know, then you seek the information regarding them. Because what Nhận is doing and everyone else is doing is build on what they assume you already have from the course outside, from the course 36, as well as the PreMentor classes. So that's one message I want to raise for everyone here. So if you don't know, and if you want to know, and you need to, because otherwise we can't get on top, is to reach out. Number two is the points that Thầy made today, of course, is the triangle of reality. And then the claim in terms of we need to be able to answer it to ourselves. And that is, with the triangle, we can have all realities. So if you can't answer that question, perhaps contemplate, and then in your house meeting with your buddy, let's call each other up and let's talk about this. Otherwise, you can ask in forums like this. And then we can quickly acquire reality. So one is to speak it, the other one is possible. As mentors, we need to be able to guide people there. Yeah, because we can have, how is it that we can have all realities? So that's two. Number three is, let me just check my notes. The Google document, the Google Drive is up and running. So really thankful to Go Hoài Mi for updating all the notes. I know that meditation is missing 3. So if you go back to, we've got 3 segments so far, we've completed, we're up to our 4th one now. So first is all the formality, which is at the beginning, called women shared it. And then the second part is also called women, which is meditation. And that one, I think we had 10 days. But in the note section, there are only 7. So I think Go Hoài Mi is updating those, day 8, day 9, and day 10. Those you can use to do your essays, yeah, your quick summary of what you collected from that. And then you've got the outcomes. So that segment is from Go Hoài Phi, and those are already up as well. So the slides are in one section, and then all the notes in another section. The only one that we are waiting on is Frank Vương to upload all the videos, because Frank has been helping us with that as well, apart from all translations, also the videos. In the video, there are some parts where like this as well. I hope that Frank has been keeping that part as well, the summary as well as the beginning, which is the calligraphy. So you can go in there to search for those as well. So once Frank's got all the links up there, and those are not to be passed outside, these are confidential. It's because we don't want to ruin it for others when they haven't got the foundation. So that's being mindful that people are on different journeys and different parts of the pathway. So we allow people to have their own journey, and let's not, do the basically breaking the shell for them, and then they won't fly. So we want to follow the guidance of wit. So those three, and then otherwise unless you have any questions regarding the content today, I'm happy to stay back a little bit for that to happen, because we don't have the class meeting later. So if you have any questions, anything you'd like to know, I'm here to follow that up with you. Okay. If not, farewell. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Frank. Thank you so much for the sharing today. And thank you, Gemma. There, Gemma, you can see Gemma. If everyone wants to drop hearts for Gemma, Gemma's working tirelessly at the back, as well as, again, me and Trang and myself, always here to give the support that's needed. And if you need anything, please comment in your house Telegram. I am always looking at those. And also, I'm the bridge between the support room in here, the support system, the support group in the classes, as well as the support group for your house. They're different support groups. Yeah.
Can I just say something? I just wanted to remind everybody, if they could put, like I've been going through attendances and all that, if they could just put their numbers in that until I know your names, and then that would be better for me. I can keep track of things better that way.
Perfect. Thank you, Ron, for doing, for giving the support to the house. Yes, so that's, we're going to have to keep reminding each other to put the number, like Tam Phúc, Tam Phúc. Yes, Phúc, if you can add your number, changing the... Phúc, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I'll do it next time. Thank you.
Yeah. So just that, as well as so I add mine in so that you can recognize me by my number. It's not hard to remember, but it's like you see a number that is so small or so big that they're obviously out of they're not part of Mentor 7. So Mentor 7 is, I think, 5 and 6, 5,000 and 6,000. Yeah. So then you recognize your class, fellow classmates. Okay, everyone. In that.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron. And we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. For tonight, jump in for. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
I think Frank has a host. I don't know whether you have the host, Frank, but you're close for everybody. Yeah.
And how about giving me 2 people for me to show them to do the one-stop shop?
Yeah. So the one-stop shop, we will discuss that in the meeting tomorrow, Anne, because there may be people. I would tell